what really matters about the message is to understand that, rather than to say this guy deserves all the credit, is to say that it was a compromise document that was a product of these internal cabinet debates. And like most compromises, the critical issues were kicked down the road. So they could all agree, and they being in the cabinet, we've talked about President Monroe, Secretary of State John Quincy Adams, a Yankee from New England. The other big guy we haven't talked about is South Carolinian John C. Calhoun. And if you want to see difference in the cabinet, it's between Adams and Calhoun. And I think implicit, maybe we can get to this later in Q&A, it's because one is from an increasingly pro-slavery state and one's becoming an anti-slavery politician from the North. And that's kind of lurking beneath their disagreements on how they understand national security. And that's what those debates are about. You might think about Monroe's role the way I think about it, like Eisenhower, the hidden hand president that's kind of guiding a complex negotiation internal policy through to its end, and the end is Monroe's message. So that's the key point there. Two more things real quick. What issues do they fudge, and why does it matter? They fudge the issue of what are they actually going to do to support the Latin Americans and also the Greeks, which is also part of this discussion. They give support to them, rhetorical. They're not prepared to actually do anything. And that question is discussed, but there's no decision made about it. The British offer, they just kick that can down the road. They don't actually rule it out. That comes back later after the message is delivered. There's no definitive answer on that. And then the real important question, which the Attorney General, William Wirt, says is the only important thing we've discussed and we really haven't answered, is what are they going to do if France actually deploys an army to South America and decides to intervene? There's no answer to any of those questions. So the key thing to know about Monroe's message of 1823 is that it tells Europeans what they can't do, but it does not decide what the United States should do. That's why it's important. It's a blank canvas for subsequent generations, and they can deploy it on behalf of all kinds of diverse foreign policy projects because there's no kind of active policy embedded in the original message.